Hello, my name is Faith McGregor, author and historical martial arts instructor. Today we're going to dive in just a little bit more detail into the videos you've seen before about how do I write this. And this is going to be about how do I write historical combat really well in fiction, historical fiction, and fantasy. This book right here is my guide. This is how I've learned historical fencing through a group and through lots and lots of study. And just like study, you have to practice. And just like in writing, you can't get really good at it unless you practice. And just like sword fighting, you can't get really good at it unless you practice. Today, we are going to dive into writing combat scenes with genuine historical techniques. If you've not yet watched episode 1 of How Do I Write This, you can go watch it now, or we're just going to give you a quick clip so you can see it. On the ocean of and now that we've seen that, let's take a closer look at the fight in the book. Now here the text says, the third man swung a long blade at her. She raised her left dagger into a parry. Now we saw this in the video. For context, in this fight, she is trying to rescue someone, and Artemis had just fought 4 people, and Calanthe came up and threw an axe into one of them to give her a better advantage and only fight 3-on-1 instead of 4-on-1. But now she's got some attention from another guard, and now that guard has engaged Calanthe and she needs to fight him off. So as you saw in the video, here's the first sentence, and you saw before that the character raises a dagger to parry the longer blade. So as you can see that here, the third man swung a long blade at her, and then she raised her dagger into a parry. Now in the text, I used parry because it is a more common term than cover, even though in the video we're trying to learn real HEMA techniques and naming conventions. But for fun to read, you got to use something a little bit more well-known. All right, so let's take this next part and then cut from below with her other dagger. We saw that in the video. And what did we learn from that video? That second cut, hopefully you're going to hit, but if you don't, it forces your attacker back and gives you a little bit more time. And then says he leaned back to avoid the cut. We saw that. Pretty simple. Calanthe cut high and then across. So 2 cuts there. He could not keep up with her strikes, and she caught his blade high, twisted her grip. So we've talked about timing. The more you can do a certain set of techniques or a series of techniques against an opponent, it's going to work out in your favor because you know what you're going to do and your opponent does not. So this is one way we can show tension in the book about talking about how she's attacking so quickly that the attacker cannot keep up with her strikes. And here you see where she actually wins the fight. And she catches the blade high, twists her grip. As we talked about earlier, she was in reverse grip. And then she draws the weapon down and then thrusts into the neck to end the fight. Every scene needs to have some stuff around it to give it context. So I'm going to give you kind of 3 tips, my tips that I like for writing good combat scenes. Number 1, set the scene. Where is the fight? What is the terrain like? Are there obstacles? Are there rocks or holes in the ground or other people around? You can't have your character do a cool one-on-one fight with good techniques if they're in some type of a battle line formation where they've got people immediately on their left side and the right side. So you're going to have to write that scene a little bit differently. So number 1, set the scene. Where is it? What's going around the character? What can you use that maybe influences the scene? Maybe they trip on a rock and fall like you saw in the movie Troy. The ground and the context can add tension to every fight scene. Number 2, what is the context of the story? What is this fight trying to do? We talked about in this fight, she is trying to get away as fast as possible. She's trying to rescue someone, so she's not interested in doing a long, drawn-out fight. She needs to finish these fights or get away as quickly as possible and move on to the next thing. So context. Number 3, the fight itself is a plot device. When it is showing about your characters, what they can do, what they are like, what they are afraid of, One of the most famous phrases in writing is show and don't tell. This is one where you can absolutely show, and you can show tension between the other characters. So in this scene, we see that Artemis is not necessarily happy that Calanthe is helping her out with her fight by throwing that axe into another person. And then she goes to do her own thing and fights this other person off. So there's some tension between the characters. There's also tension because they're trying to get out as soon as possible. And if you read before and after in this little bit combat scene, you can see how the underlying tension is, I need to go. So I don't want to engage you. I want to get out. I want to take the person I'm rescuing and I want to leave as quick as possible and get away safe. In this scene in particular, we see Calanthe helping Artemis. But Artemis doesn't think she needs help. So we're probably going to see that tension resolve later. Now we're going to look at something a little different. This is an illustration from the 1570, The Art of Combat. We call them a plate. So this illustration has been colorized, and so you can see the detail a little bit better. We're going to look at a couple of these and just kind of figure out what's going on. So in this front group here, you can see that one character is attacking with a high cut, as you've seen in the video, and one character is also cutting at his face. Now, what's cool about Meyer is the way he parries is he always likes to parry using a cut. So you see this person in blue is going to parry this high cut with a cut of his own, also giving him a chance to strike the opponent. Likewise, you see this back group this middle group of people here, this yellow character and this teal green character. He's got his sword blade way back in a posture called tog or Vomtog, and this yellow person here is thrusting towards his face in a low posture. Now you can take these kind of things and you can write a little scene of them. So we're going to do a little practice to kind of round out the video. So I've written a little scene and I'll throw it up on the screen and you can follow along and see how we can use something as simple as just an illustration to write a really good historically accurate scene. The hero was pushed back, not realizing the downed trees near him. His foot caught on one of the branches and he tumbled down hard. A sharp plane flashed in his body as the branch cut deep into his leg. The villain pressed forward, his sword high, as he brought his blade down upon the hero, hoping to end this dance once and for all. But the hero managed to get up to one knee and then thrust up into the villain's face. The villain twisted his body to avoid the incoming steel and fell face first onto the ground. The hero placed his blade on the back of his neck. Do you finally yield? Now here we wrote just an entire scene just based on this picture of this yellow person and this teal green person. So see, that is one way you can use historical literature and historical illustrations to write excellent blade combat for your novels. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been How Do I Write This? Episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3, which is going to be the next 3 fights in the book.